And we are back for another live episode of the Kingdom. In case you haven't noticed, 4 of us tonight. We got a big show. We apologize for being 12 minutes late here. We're usually a couple minutes late, but tonight there was some shit going on. But we would like to welcome our viewers from across this beautiful country of ours. Who's that?
Maverick.
I won't go through them all. You know who you are. We got a good show tonight. We got Rip, we got Reg, we got drums, and we'll see you in 30 seconds.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. We got a special one this evening for you. We got a special guest. And as always, I'm joined by the brothers behind Kngdom, Regan and Jordan Headley. As we do, we'll send it up north to kick things off for us. Reg, how's things up there, my friend? How you doing?
Good. First off, apologies for missing last week. Left pack until the last minute. Didn't leave town early enough. Was planning to do the show in Brandon, but didn't get there. I listened to most of it. You guys didn't go too far off the rails, so I was pretty excited about that. Although, just as you said, let's go a little further into this. I forget what you guys were talking about. I kind of lost service and it cut out, and I never did open it back up. And I didn't listen to it, so I really don't know how the episode ended. But no, I had a crazy weekend that we'll recap coming up here shortly. But back in Dauphin, played GP last night. Minty as usual. Finally got some rain here. Things are good.
Beauty. Send it out to Rossman. Sure. What's happening, buddy?
Top of the evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. I was in the middle of a post there. I'm posted on Instagram live with Rip. So, bit of a shit show here, some might say. Lots going on. Haven't eaten supper yet. Yeah. I had a call with the King of Australia, Dom, our buddy Dom from Australia. So I was on the phone with him. It lasted a little longer than I had expected. And so I had to shower, make supper, didn't get to eat the supper. And now we're into the beer. So things could go slightly sideways here on us if we're not careful.
I thought something was a little off with you before.
I'm pretty need a couple
hangry. I would say hangry.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that we're 12 minutes late. Like, my microphone wasn't working, so I can take some of the heat for that. But also, you guys couldn't figure out how to get into the room.
I was sitting backstage, man. I had a few drinks backstage, actually.
What else?
VIPs,
man. Can't say.
No, so we'll have a couple beers. This is a chilada, though, so it has some sort of nutritional value. It's got some clams, got some onions. And I slammed a couple beans before as well, so pickled beans for sups. I don't have much to report, though. I'll throw her over to Rip. Where are you, Rip? How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Just hanging out in Long Island. Staying in shape, trying to play some golf. Guess you could say living the dream right now.
Oh yeah, and what else? We have a big time cheers in order for the boys.
Yeah,
it's Instagram official now.
Yeah. Might have to grab a beer for that.
You don't have to.
Well, I kind of do. I would say
you can if you'd like, but don't feel pressured.
It's bad luck cheersing without a beer, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We'll wait for you. You don't have to do it this second, but
I'll grab it now before we get going.
Okay. Drums, what's up in Brandon, brother?
Not much, man. Yeah, we had a pretty good weekend as well. Did some golfing in the old Kenosi Valley. And then prior to that, we were in Winnipeg for a comedy show. We got to see Jimmy Carr on Thursday night. Had a ton of laughs. It was actually insane to see. I don't know if you guys know where the Bird Cummings Theater is, kind of downtown. but the lineup to get in wrapped around the block twice. Not the building, but the actual block that it was on twice. It was nuts.
No.
So there's people that waited in line for like an hour and a half to get in for the second show. Luckily, we could see it from our hotel room and waited till the line died down before we ran over there and caught it just in time. But yeah, it was hour and a half, almost 2 hours of straight laughs. He shit on absolutely everybody
Nice.
the entire way, so it was amazing.
Do you remember
And then
much
got
of it?
to. I was not on. I was pretty high. Not gonna lie to you.
I just meant like when you go to a comedian, like you laugh so hard at a joke, and then you're like, I gotta tell this to somebody after, and then he tells the next one, you forget about the one before that, and then by the time
Yeah.
the show is over, it's all just a blur, and you remember like one or two, but the whole thing is so funny, man.
Yeah, you get like premises that he was starting on, but you'll never get like the whole entire thing. I guess that's why they do it for a living and we don't. But yeah, this guy's probably like a top 10 comedian in the world right now. He's unreal.
So what was with the line? What happened there?
So I think when we got in there on the screen before he came on, it had like instructions where you could like text in jokes to him, and then he would read them on the screen at the end of the night and like play along with the jokes. So I think it just extended longer than anticipated from the first show because there was like a 7 o'clock show and then the 9:30, and it just took longer. Yeah,
I gotcha.
But it was good. Then yeah, we were off to the bachelor party in Kngdom. It's good times.
How was Kngdom?
Good. Definitely the wrong bar burnt down that I remember.
Yeah, should have been.
Yeah, bar should have burnt, and the moose head should have stayed alive.
Yeah, so I was a little miffed on that one, but I don't know. We had a good time. Played 2 rounds. We got White Bear in on Saturday, and then jetted over to Kngdom. Kngdom's far superior. I think I always remember growing up that White Bear was like kind of the one for a while, but Kngdom's unreal, man. I love Kngdom.
Okay, so with the White Bear is like there's bears everywhere. Kind of you'd think like tied to Jack Nicklaus. I thought it was a Jack Nicklaus design, but there's also Arnold Palmer shit everywhere in there. Like the whole clubhouse is Arnold Palmer shit. So I don't know if they're just hoping that like people like expect that one of them did something there and neither of them actually did. But I don't know. We might need some confirmation on that. I'm sure somebody in the chat might know who designed White Bear. I'm pretty sure it was one of them, though. I want to say Nicholas.
If you need your confidence absolutely beat through the floor, like go play White Bear.
I literally lost 12 balls. Like that's
the hardest course on the planet, and you can't even get it back because you just have to hit a 4-iron out to 200, and then you get a 200-yard shot in. It's like,
and if it's in the bush, you're never seeing that ball again.
No.
Chez's in the house. Good to see you, Chez.
Lots of people leaving. Lots of exits here.
Yeah, no kidding. We got to get things under control here. So we'll wait for Drums to get back, but I'll talk a little bit more about Kngdom. Kngdom golf course, I would put it right up there with Oak Island, to be completely honest with you. Maybe even. And Oak Island, as everybody would know here, is my top cheese. But man, Kngdom is just such a nice course, such a fun layout, similar to Oak Island in that way. But I would say that it has more views, like more scenery than Oak Island.
Definitely. It's in a better setting. For sure.
I'm always absolutely crippled when I'm there, though, so I always have
I know.
a hard time remembering it.
I could not go through the course.
No. I get
like
the first 4 holes.
I remember like 4 holes. Maybe like 18. Is 18 a par 3?
18? No, it's it's a par 3. No.
Yeah, it is because that's where we had the playoff. Yeah, so that's a That's a major downfall of that course.
Drums and I were pretty lights out. I mean, I don't want to toot our own horns here, but Drums had a 3rd lowest round ever, and there was a lot of birdies on the back nine from the orange and blue guy. Rip, I wore orange and blue for you tonight. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but
we got to. On that note, the guy in the bottom corner might be the most improved golfer in the past decade.
Okay, hold that. Let's do a cheers because Rip
Holy shit.
celebrated one of the biggest moments in life, I would say, an engagement. She said yes, I believe, because it was on Instagram. So cheers to Rip.
Hello.
Looked like a hell of a party. Wish I could have been there. Reggie was there. He's got a Guinness. Cheers, boys. Cheers, Rip.
Oh,
Congrats, buddy.
good.
Cheers, Rip.
Hello, Rip. Congrats.
One heck of a party, one heck of a weekend.
So tell us,
Oh,
Rip.
Rip, you're on mute.
Ooh.
No.
We had a good weekend. It could have been worse. The weather was questioning, but we managed to play some golf.
Yeah.
A little
How
bit.
many did we play total? 28 holes?
We were 12, I think, on Friday, and
Yeah.
then 16 on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a good thing we played 18 on Friday.
Yeah, because that's the best hole on the whole course.
Mm-hmm.
Why the weird numbers?
Did you start on the back nine then?
No,
Friday?
so Friday it rained from like 3 o'clock, and then we showed up to the course at 6, and we were like, should we try? Like, what should we do? And we went into the clubhouse and we got a beer, and all of a sudden it just quit raining and the sun kind of poked out. So it was like 6:30, and we played 12 holes in 2 hours or whatever. And
Do you think that 12 holes is the mintiest that course can play?
yeah. I mean, the
greens weren't as fast. That's one issue, but
yeah, but the way the weather was, and then we also played the 12 best holes on the course too. So it was like,
what did the guy call it? The Sabonic 9, and then we added a few more because we had more time.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
What course again was it?
Sabonic. It's in Southampton, right next door to Shinnecock. They basically corner each other. Then there's another course there, National, which is beautiful too. They're all three of them. It's actually kind of an incredible little spot for golf.
Wow,
that's a good word to use.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Is that kind of the best in the area then, like those courses?
There's a lot.
Right on the ocean, eh?
Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot of great courses, but I think what they have, well, Sabonic has the ocean. The other two you don't really see. I guess it's a bay. It's not the actual ocean, but for the area, I think it probably has the most water views, Sabonic. But I mean, the golf on Long Island, I've kind of spoken to you guys about it before, is just everywhere you look, there's like these hidden little like incredible courses. They're all private and kind of hard to get onto sometimes, but if you can get out there and play, it's pretty good.
Are you a member anywhere now?
I actually did join a club here, which is a great track too. They hosted I don't know if they've hosted any like professional tournaments over the years, maybe back in the day, but they host a lot of amateur events in the summer. It's really good golf.
Yeah.
What's that one called? Glen something?
Glen Oaks. Yeah, that's next to my house. It's awesome too. They hosted the FedEx or something in like 2017. I don't know if it was called the FedEx then, but there was a playoff with Spieth and Dustin Johnson, I think, and DJ.
Oh, when DJ blasted like over the water?
Yeah, blasted it like 310 carry or something over the water.
And Spieth laid up like it was literally like 120 yards difference between where they were.
Yeah. So that's right around the corner from my place. So it's kind of anywhere you look, there's really good golf.
But that's not where you're a member. What's it called?
No, I joined Meadowbrook, which is like those two courses actually touch each other at one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So have you ever tried that shot that DJ pulled off? You might be able to do it, right?
Like, yes, but no.
Different tees.
Yeah. Yeah. So from the tees we play, it's not that hard, but there's tees like way in the back that they don't really use outside of for when they hosted.
Right.
And how improved is
I
he,
got a
Reg?
question here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, James.
Sorry, I was just going to say, and how improved is he now?
I've
So
improved, but if you saw me,
have you
my
broke 80?
no, I 80 is my best, but
Okay. So you
80.
if we can try to remember. I don't know if we can or not, but so you were 41 on the front. No,
Yeah.
42. Sorry, 42. And then you started with a birdie on 10, and then you birdied 14 and 16. So you had 3 birdies on the back. So you're sitting 3 under with we played 7 holes. So the other 4 holes, I'm not convinced that you would have had. I don't think you would have been over 80. I don't think that there's any way you could have been over 80 if you part out.
Yeah, if I would have parred out, it would have been close again, probably.
And 18's a birdie hole.
Yeah. It gives
I
me
think you could have
trouble.
done it.
It gives me trouble. I don't know if I've ever birdied 18, but
Do you remember what you got on those holes? Like, it'd be interesting to know. No scorecard?
No, I don't think we grabbed it. It was pouring rain, and we kind of jumped out of there.
I mean, if you're shooting 80, you can shoot 79.
Yeah, for sure I can, but I also can still shoot 93, 94.
I'm not convinced.
That's where I am too, man.
Yeah. I did it the
I'm
other
not
day.
convinced.
I played Tuesday. I couldn't hit a fairway. I shot like 93.
Your driver's absent a rope. It was insane, actually.
I didn't hit one good one.
Cool to see. And you guys, it's tough to explain it. Those greens, the slopes. I've never played golf like that before, honestly. Never.
You gotta know.
So cool. Probably the coolest golf I've ever played. Honestly, I would put it up there. It's crazy to say because I never thought I'd ever say it, but I'd put it up there with Cabot.
Yeah,
it was
top 3. Would you say?
I say top. Well, it's top 2 for sure. Those are the 2 best courses I've ever played.
Really?
The trouble, and we should talk about this too, Rip, because if you get a good caddy, which we had Friday, he was really good. And then the guy that you guys had on Saturday was really good.
Like helpful.
The guy that we had.
Yeah, he wasn't.
The first hole he gave me a good read, but then the second on 2 and 3.
This guy's reading your putts?
Yeah.
You kind of
rich people shit, man.
Right.
So, anyways, on 2 and 3. Hey?
Are you still on the carts with a caddy?
They ride on the back. Yeah,
it's like stand
cool.
up, hangs on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really? That's wild.
It's
we used to get yelled at as kids for that.
It's pretty chill there. Like when we played Friday after the rain, like we're in carts and the caddy's like, yeah, like you guys can pretty much drive anywhere, just don't drive on the green. Like you can pull the cart up right beside the green. It's
10 feet from the green.
It's fairly laid back. Like, I mean, you got to respect the course and like respect, everything,
sure.
but they're pretty chill there.
Was that the course that Trump was ripping across the green on?
No.
Okay, so Rip, I just wanted to ask because the guy that we had, he was kind of inexperienced, and he gave me a bad read for my approach or my chip shot on 2, and I kind of was like, okay, whatever, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And then he gave me another bad one on 3. Like I hit it with like within a foot of where he said on both holes, and I ended up like running like 25 feet past the hole on both of them. Because whatever it was, it doesn't really matter. But I asked him if I should hit it in different spots. So then the rest of the round, I kind of had like almost trust issues because I was like, well, you misled me twice, but then he's still there every hole, so I got to ask his opinion. And then it's really good to have if like the guy on Friday, like it was really cool to see. But then once you start doubting a little bit, then it's kind of almost, it's not harder. It would never be harder because he gave me a lot of good tips too. But
yeah, they're also pretty good at like if you don't want an opinion or if you don't want help. I mean, I don't think it really hurts their feelings too much, but at the same time, when you're so like kind of unknown that you're still kind of like wanting help, but you don't know if you trust it or not.
Yeah. It was nuts. But Troy was kind of cool too because we were playing against each other. Like it was me and Santa against Rip and Pellick. And the caddies kind of got into it.
Really?
Like fighting?
Like
No,
no,
they knew what the match was at, and they knew exactly. Like,
Oh,
they were really
they were
into
in
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, like fully invested in it. It was kind of cool.
yeah, I think they weren't helping each other's like teams out very much.
And I like
Who?
the guy, like
Who won?
Rip's guy gave me a yardage one time. I'm like, hey, come over here. I don't trust this guy. The match is getting tight. So I got my guy to scope out again.
But they might have had like some side cash on it.
Right.
I don't
So
think.
get this. Rip's proposing immediately after the round. We're tied going into 16. Chucks an absolute dart, makes the birdie, and
Nice.
then an absolute shitstorm rolls in. So they're up 1 with 2 to go, and we got to leave the course. So that's how the match finishes.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't mind losing like that. Birdie's right before he gets engaged.
What'd you call
hole
it?
is a single, man.
Adrenaline birds?
Oh yeah.
Might have been.
That was probably good for you though, Rep. Like to kind of take your mind off of everything right before, because there's nothing worse than really stewing on that something like that for a long time, wouldn't you say? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly was pretty comfortable.
Pretty chill.
Was all day, so I would say, yeah, it was play golf with your buddies before. It's
Pretty cash.
can't really beat it.
No, definitely not. That's the right play for sure. So Rip, tell us, unless you guys want to carry on with that, but I want to know, because Rip, what would you say you're firing like 3 years ago? Like 90s? High 90s? Not hundies.
Yeah, I mean, I would touch higher 90s probably. Yeah. I think it's a little bit different depending where you play. Like I think like here, my scores might not be like crazy different, but I think the some of the golf is like a lot more challenging at times, and I'm shooting a lot better. So like honestly here, I mean, I'm shooting 85 on average, say, and I'm still 3-putting,
Right.
a few times, which I could clean up and shoot a lot better. Like my ball striking is a lot better. My drivers like improved a lot. Those are like the biggest changes. I've done a lot of work on short game, mostly like wedges and stuff, which has been a big improvement, helping score a little better. Putting's still an issue, but it's improved, I would say.
You were never really a terrible putter though, even when you're kind of inconsistent, but I still remember you dropping putts that I did not expect you to make.
Yeah, I mean, that's more, I almost was better at like 20 footers than like 6 footers.
Yeah. So
I would say short game's kind of the only
improvement.
Like chipping would be the only.
Yeah.
If you improve that, then you'll be high 70s pretty much every round.
Which
Definitely.
It's come a long way, but it's still room for improvement. It's also like tough here. Like the greens are very sloped and very like rolling hills sometimes. So you really need to like be able to like spin it and do different things kind of to hold it. Cause I mean, you can hit a great wedge shot right at the hole and you don't always get rewarded,
It's nuts. Like I said on that Saturday round, like if we were playing at home anywhere, like Rip, you would have probably been like 75, and I would have probably been like a few under. Like
you were playing well,
but it's totally different. It's a grind every time you get around the greens. It's so hard, and it makes you appreciate how good those tour players are because it's such a grind every time you're on the hole.
Yeah, I would say a lot of those courses could hold events. Like a lot of them, some have. They're all like hard enough. It's just like when you get to like the real difference would be like the rough, like how they grow it out more for tournaments.
But they could there.
They could. They just don't unless they. I mean, it's like even like Shinnecock. I mean, I know guys that have played there like a week or two before the Open, and they said it was like impossible if you didn't hit the fairway, and then they played like a couple of weeks after, and it was like not that
Scoreable,
scoreable because like they cut it down like normal, and it's like you can actually get somewhere out of there.
If you get above the hole in some of those greens, it's not. Remember the greens at Dakota Dunes?
Yep.
They're like that, except there's more slope and they're faster.
Yeah, and we played them at like not that fast because it had rained the whole day. Like then we went and played, and then it rained again at night, and then we played the next day. Like they can be lightning.
And like it's crazy. Like you have to factor it. Like I know you do at home too. Like factor in the wind on the greens, but like if you're downwind putting, like it's a big difference. Like it's not stopping. Like,
you also get the wind
just touch it.
Off the water sometimes too, which we had a little bit Saturday, and it plays a role in it all too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean, even thinking of like Dakota Dunes, I kind of prefer greens like that because at least they're going to be faster after a couple holes. You kind of get used to it. I mean, I never played there, so I can't really comment too well, but I do really like greens that what it's going to do, whether that's putting or chipping. If you know what it's going to do, because there's courses around here where you can hit a really good shot or a really good approach shot, and it bounces because there's weird shit on the greens, like different slopes. But I feel like those courses like that are at that level of design, at least you know what it's going to do. I mean, you could end up 15 feet past, but that's kind of on you, right?
Yeah. Or it's like, you're told usually if you have a caddy, like, you're better off short, long's dead or whatever.
Right.
That's just like you have no chance or whatever,
Yeah, if you end up on the wrong side of those, you're toast.
Yeah.
So how'd you improve your chipping then, Rip? Just playing more, or have you been practicing?
I've taken a few lessons. And yeah, playing more. Probably the biggest thing. But at least just having a lesson of like, some techniques and some drills to do when I am practicing, because I'm bad at like, or I was bad anyway, and I think of just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the range and practice, and then you get there and you're just like
bomb drives,
or
even if you're hitting wedges, you're just like throwing some balls down and just swinging at it,
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, doing some different drills of like changing your target like every time, and like changing your distance like every shot, and just going like back and forth, like mixing it up. And
feel, right? Like learning feel
for sure.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really have any technique either. Like I had to like, get taught that a little bit too.
In my opinion, chipping is by far the most important. I mean, putting obviously too, but I think that if you really want to save strokes in golf, it's chipping. Because, I mean, you could hit a shitty drive, you could hit a shitty approach shot, you're still going to be kind of around the green there. Or you could hit a really good drive and miss the green by a foot. You're still chipping it though. And it's the difference of your chip there if you're 2 feet away or if you're 10 feet away. And if you're doing that every hole, that's probably 10 strokes around, right?
Yeah.
And even worse, some guys chunk it, they skull it, then they got to do that again. So then it's like 10 or 15 strokes. And I mean, if you can consistently get it to like 2 or 3 feet from somewhere around the green, like that's huge, I think.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's like 10 feet, then you're kind of guaranteeing yourself a 2-putt.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like,
exactly.
So, I mean, if you're like 20 feet with like a big rolling hill or something, I mean, you're completely in, 3-putt territory.
Like
you said, it is hard to teach the feel.
Yeah, like Drum said, it is hard to teach that. It's just doing it, right? That's probably something that you didn't do before. Like you said, like go to the range with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing probably. Or even just in a round, like having a purpose like within the round of like, you have a bad one on first hole, second hole, and just being able to like have some foundation to like know what to correct, in your next shot.
Definitely. We got Dad in the house, Rip. He said, who's the new guy? We're still waiting for that. We're still waiting for that party at Rossman Lake with Dad.
Yeah.
One day.
Hopefully.
You were sniffing this year, but I don't like. Did you? We can talk hockey for a bit. Then we gotta get to the U.S. Open because there's quite a bit to cover there, and a few other things. But hockey season overall, what are your thoughts on it? If I was a TSN interviewer,
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, anytime you make the playoffs is, pretty good year. It's not easy to do. All you have to do is get in. Us as a team, we had quite a few ups and downs, but we found a way. I think for myself, it was all right. I played decent. I think playoff time, I probably played the best I've maybe ever played. And it's funny how confidence like just can go a long way. And I look back at my playoffs and my first shift against Carolina, I ran a guy over kind of, and it was it was like that one play, that one moment where it was just like I gained so much confidence from that one play that it was just like carried on, and I was able to play the best I've ever played.
You hit a guy like your next. Was it later on that shift or the next shift?
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of running all over the place game one.
Didn't you have like 9 hits the first game?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, it was the first 2 shifts. Like I texted the group chat and I was like, "Rippy is in one tonight." Like you just absolutely crushed the guy behind the net, and then smoked the guy in the half wall too.
Yeah,
like right after that, it was good to see.
It was fun.
So can you carry that confidence in next season, or is it tough to do with such a layoff?
I think it's kind of tough to do, but I also think that it's good to have that like in the back of your mind of like, what
I can do this.
And like I think I found like another level. I mean, I played some pretty good hockey at times, throughout. I mean, there's always ups and downs, but I think I was really able to find another level. So it is kind of like exciting in terms of going into next year. It's like, I can bring more, I can do more, and just knowing that you can, I think definitely helps. But I mean, like we're talking like 4 months, 5 months off. I don't think you can just like, step on the ice in training camp and
pick it up that quick.
Pick it up like play at your best. But I think it's easier to get to.
Plus, the intensity of the game as a whole is just different in September than it is in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, come playoff time, it comes naturally. And, in September, you have to find it within yourself. And which I think is great for me, doing it in the playoffs is, maybe expecting more out of myself and pushing myself more and being able to find that level throughout the season from game one kind of thing and carry it through.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it on the weekend, but obviously looking ahead to next year, I'm excited to watch Barzal and Horvat play more than 2 games together before Barzal got hurt there. That played a huge factor in your guys' success in playoffs too, I would say. If those 2 got to play together for a couple months before playoffs, might have been a whole different story.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're very capable of being very effective together. I think you have a playmaker and a great passer in Barzan. You have just a really great shooter and a guy that just scores. Whatever he does is he finds a way to score. And I think when you put those 2 together, you have a good chance of some success. So yeah, they, played a few games together when Bo came over, and that can also be a bit of a tough transition for a guy, changing teams and coming to a new group. And then it wasn't long after that, Barzy got hurt, and then he came back for playoffs. But, it's tough. It's tough to miss that amount of time and then just jump in and expect to just, dominate. But
yeah, especially
I mean, we've, us as a team, we had some success for a couple years, 2 years ago, and then we had a tough go 2 years ago with the COVID and some injuries, and we just we're so far out of it with a couple months to play. And I think, if I remember correctly, but our record in the last like month or 2 months of the season that year was like really good, like one of the better records in the league. And then, last year I thought we were pretty good. We just had a month where we really struggled, and that kind of forced us into being in the spot where we were really grinding to get into playoffs. And I don't know our exact record at the last month or so, but we must have won like
Reggie will know
14 or 15 games in the last like 20,
It's nuts.
22, and played some like really important games against Pittsburgh and teams that were in the hunt with us. And, we were able to find a way. So also helps when you have one of the best goalies in the league.
No kidding.
You give yourselves a chance when, he stands on his head every night.
I think it was something like 14-6 or something in the last 20. Something.
Yeah, it was,
Just to be precise.
Yeah,
No, I don't know. I think it was somewhere along those lines.
and
It was
we
nuts. Anyways.
got in by 1 point, maybe 2 points.
And Pittsburgh lost to Chicago.
Like game 81 or something.
And that got Florida in too, right?
Yeah,
good for Florida. It was good to see.
He's up for the Vezina, isn't he?
he is. Yeah, rightfully so.
I'm thinking he gets it.
I remember you said when he came over the one.
I think
year
maybe
you
your
were
first time
playoffs.
on the podcast,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is probably before he was even a starter, I think.
When he first came over in the bubble, but he didn't play. So
Right,
it wasn't
'cause he-
until that
yeah.
next year.
But you
Yeah.
said when he first came over, you
Yeah,
were
I
like,
remember that
"Man,
too.
this guy's as good as Shesterkin."
Yeah, it's kind of funny because they're like best friends too. They
Oh, really?
hang out in the off season. They're like they train together when they're young and like best friends, and then they're like two goalies in New York, like kind of battling it out for top goalies in the league. There's other guys in that conversation too, but
And they're all Russian.
yeah, they're right there. Yeah.
It was just unreal how you said that, though. Like watching him in practice.
Yeah, he's just so fast. Like I don't know how much you guys have seen him, but like he'll get beat on a shot, once in a while or whatever, but like try to deke him or try to go like backdoor tap-ins and stuff, like he just like makes the save, and it's like how'd you get there?
Yeah.
Makes your job a lot easier.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, you've made a few saves in your day.
Yeah. One for sure.
That was a
Was
legendary
that
one.
one of the highlights of the year? Was that 2022 or 21?
Yeah, I think it was like 2
Last
years ago, like 2 or 3 days ago. I had a couple people like sending it to me on social media.
Just to touch on, just have to get in. That's like honestly, it is tough sometimes during the regular season for you guys because you're not like a high octane offense or anything like that. You literally just your whole team is built for playoffs, and if you can find a way to get in, you got a chance to the cup every year. I mean, it's the reality.
I mean, we have to grind it out. I mean, we're not going out there and ripping it up and whatnot. We have to play a certain way to have success, and I think everyone knows that on our team. It's just some days it's harder than others or easier than others, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think you look at it like you look at Boston. Like Boston was untouchable all season. They had a great season, unbelievable. They get into playoffs, they get a little banged up, and they have some things going on, some like illnesses I think they had, and you just don't know. Once you get in what could happen, positive or negative. So you just like got to get in, and you have as good a chance as the other 16 teams.
Yeah.
Well, Reggie?
Big sigh. What?
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
These guys, Rip, I don't know if you're a watcher of the Kingdom or not, but these guys always try to squeeze some hockey in here on us. And I don't know. I watched a couple Islanders games during the playoffs, and I think the ones that I watched, you guys actually won. That was you talked about flying out to Long Island, I think, for game 6 there, maybe, but yeah. We'll keep her moving along here because we're already 40 minutes in. We gotta talk about some golf here. I know everybody kind of watched a little bit of golf in this chat tonight, but we're gonna touch on that. And we're going to talk about some fix your divots because Rip has one too that he would like to bring up. But U.S. Open wise, what is everybody's thoughts on Wyndham Clark? Reggie, I know you've been kind of hot on him lately. Nobody picked him obviously in the pool, but just like as a first kind of impression of a guy breaking onto the scene, what are your thoughts, Rip?
Honestly, I don't know or didn't know a ton about him, but I think, his story and what he's gone through past few years or whatever it might have been. And then to kind of come on and the position he was in and just kind of be able to just grind through it, the weekend. And it's a tough spot. I mean, there's so much pressure and whatnot. And he seemed pretty cool, I thought, through the whole thing. I wasn't able to watch a ton, but just like the ending and stuff, he held his own, and I think that's just impressive of its own.
I feel like Drums, you watched a bit, but what did you think of Wyndham? You a fan?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like I actually am a fan now. I remember we were saying, who the hell was this guy a month ago when he won? And you kind of, like Rip said, you get to hear a bit of a story with his mother and her passing and the way that that's probably carried him on Sunday. Kind of on a big star-studded field, he just kind of held them off. Nobody really took off. He didn't either, but he still battled it out to stay on top. Like Rory couldn't buy a birdie at all, and Ricky, I don't know if Ricky didn't. It didn't seem like he fell apart. It's just he might have tried a few too many things to make birdies, and it cost him.
Do you like? To me, I don't know. Do you guys study like body language and stuff like that? Like Rick did not seem like he was happy to be there or anything. Like he just seemed like he was pissed off the whole day. I mean, I get
think
that
that
you're
was
like
like
in this zone, but like you have to like, I don't know, get into
that's
it
not
a
how
little
Ricky
bit.
usually looks.
Like dead straight, dead face.
Right, like he's usually like more casual, laid back. Like you can read that
That's
in his
what I
body
mean.
language,
Like
like you
it
mean.
just seemed off.
I think he was
think
like put that much pressure on himself.
I think when he missed that putt on Saturday, I think that was kind of like that was hit the dagger into him. Honestly, the 3-footer on 18 or 4-foot or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was like you go into Sunday leading, or you're the guy that missed a 3-footer to go into Sunday's round tied, and now you're in the passenger seat instead of the driver's seat, where he could have dictated. He would have had the lead, and Clark might have to go for a few things instead of just hanging on to the lead. He would have had to been trying to make birdie, and it would have changed things, the landscape of things on Sunday for sure. Very.
You like Wyndham, Reggie?
Yeah, I do. I watched pretty much the entire round on Sunday. Obviously,
Nice.
my guy was in the hunt.
Yeah, no kidding.
God, you know what, man? Like, he played so fucking solid, man. Like, you can't even put into words how solid Rory played on Sunday. You can't. He might hit every green. I'd like to see the stats. He might hit every green. And Clark's missing greens, hitting it in the long shit, making these miraculous up and downs, and Rory's just hitting it to 20 feet and 2-putting every hole. And if there was 5 more holes, I bet you Rory would have won. He just ran out of time and couldn't make any birdies. But that 3-putt that he had in the par 5, there was probably the turning point of the whole day.
On the front,
because Clark, hey,
he hit some killer shots. Holy,
might have been like hole 12. It was when Wyndham bogeyed, when he got stuck up in the side there, because he was just on the fringe in 2 and he left it 3 feet short and then missed the putt. But man, he has to stop trying to hit a cut. Like, can somebody
Rory,
just
yeah,
tell him that?
I know. I don't get that either.
That's the only time he ever gets in trouble is when he tries to hit a cut.
And he's the best driver in the world, probably, of the golf ball.
Easily.
Figure it out,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, like Wyndham was hitting shots like it was his first time there, which it was.
Like some squirrely shots?
No. Like things you wouldn't dare try unless you didn't know any better.
Yeah, like that one he played all
Fair.
the way up the hill. They were sick.
But I feel
What-
like, from my perspective, like in that situation, Rip could probably comment better than all of us can here. But like, I feel like when you're at that point in your career, like Wyndham Clark, if you chokes or something down the stretch, you're gonna have a harder time getting back to where you were. But I feel like if you can somehow bust through that first one, because that was his first time that he was there, and if you can pull that off, I think he's gonna do some damage in the PGA. Because you look at guys who were as close as he was, and then the pressure just keeps building up on you from that point forward, because you know that you're good enough to be there, but you have to win. And it seemed like in the past and in this tournament too, like if guys are playing for something that's kind of bigger than them, they don't feel the same sort of. That's what I'm saying. I can't comment on this, but like I feel like they get a sense of they're playing for somebody other than themselves, and that kind of helps them push through that barrier. And hearing his story with his mom and his struggles and all that kind of stuff, you have to think that when you're there, you're playing. He said he's playing for his mom the whole day instead of himself, and worrying about if this happens, then this, or if this happens, then I'm going to make this much money, or they're going to talk about me on TSN. Like, if you're playing for somebody other than yourself, I feel like that's a good way to bust through. Your thoughts, Rip?
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I think golf and hockey are quite a bit different in that aspect, because he's out there all by himself, right? And the thoughts that must go through your mind. I mean, like you look at a guy like that probably doesn't have a lot of money, hasn't made a lot of money, so far in his career, compared to say Rory, where he's at in his career. And like he's probably thinking about that a little bit, and about all the other things that you said. And like when you can clear that out of your mind and have other thoughts and other things to play for, and I think everyone's probably different, but
Yeah.
For him, if that's kind of what keeps him calm and keeps him just kind of focused on the right things, then that's great, because he has something that can do that. Because I think you see it in other guys where they're so good, and then it's just like that one thing that they just can't recover from, and then things can spiral into tournaments, and
Always in the back of their mind, something like that.
You guys, like Spieth was hard to beat at one point. Then he kind of went through a little bit of where he was struggling, and
Thomas right now
seems to
I was going to say Thomas. What's up with him?
Pretty quiet in the last year.
Brooks, we saw what he went through. Yeah.
Two examples of that too would be Spieth, his tee shot on 12 at Augusta.
Yeah.
And Rory on 10 at Augusta.
Like
those guys were both absolutely flying high, and they hit one bad swing each, and then just like derailed them.
Didn't Spieth have like a 3-shot lead at the time, or like?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So did Rory.
Did you see the video of Wyndham's girlfriend coming out, and the first thing she said was, "That's so much money"?
Oh, really?
I don't know if that was real or if somebody doctored something, but
can't trust
that was good. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a crazy thing. You can't trust shit that you see.
That's like something like that's life changing for a guy like that.
Man.
So much security.
What is it, $6 million?
Just to be able to go play and not have to worry about like travel and like all these things, and he can just go play tournaments and try to make some more money, but he doesn't like need it to survive
successfully.
And his exemptions too, like based on that alone, will be massive. Sponsorship.
He plays in that tournament for the next 15, 20 years, right?
spot. Like his endorsements will be crazy too now. Like he'll have people just knocking his door down trying to get.
Oh Christ! Look at Michael Block. Never mind somebody that actually was
Yeah.
successful in a tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to feel for Rick though, because he's kind of on the opposite end of things there, where like
He's such a good dude.
well, I think that if Ricky would have won that early in his career, like I think that his path, his life might have been a lot different. But you have to think his ability to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday there was like absolutely lights out. Like lights out. He hardly missed a shot those 3 days. And
Course
then
record.
so why is Sunday different? It's the exact same course. It's a day later, but you have to think like it's
100% it is, man.
but how do you ever shake that then? Like what do you I mean, he wasn't even close to winning this one. He's 5 strokes back, I think.
Rory's no different, man.
Rory's no different for sure.
He hasn't won since what? How many years? Like
A long time.
major. 2014. I was gonna say yes.
I
9
feel like
years.
he's always like so far out of it on Thursday, and then plays lights out and is like top
Just
5.
couple
Rory?
strokes
Yeah.
short. Yeah.
Or like he's in it and then he just like he's still playing well, but he just can't like find like another level of like making putts.
Right.
Like Cam Smith did to him, and like Wyndham Clark did to him. Just they
Yeah.
both just like short game the shit out of him.
Could we talk about Rory's drop for a second?
I don't know what happened there. I didn't see
Didn't
it.
see it? Do you see it, Rip? Oh,
No.
what did I do there? Did I move it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but-
out of the like when he was in the bunker
That's cool.
or what?
I don't know why it looked like you were actually touching the screen and moving.
I was because there was a hair on it. So I moved the hair and then the whole screen moved. It's a touch screen thing. Forgot about that.
Gee, is this the same laptop I have?
Yeah, it's a touch screen. Lenovo.
I have a confession. I cleaned it with a cloth one day
Doesn't
and
work
wrecked the
anymore.
touchscreen, so I had to discontinue the touchscreen. Like I cleaned it with like a
Okay, so-
alcohol swab, and it completely destroyed the screen.
That's kind of cool.
Okay, walk us through the drop because I seen the stuff online, but I never actually caught the drop.
Okay, so it was like 3 or 4 holes left to go. Scheffler was playing with him. Scheffler, it was a par 5. Scheffler went for it in 2. He was in the bunker right in front of the green. Rory laid up. So Rory hit his second shot to like 150 or 140, whatever it is. And so Rory hit his third shot, and it just went pounding into the bunker. But it was embedded. And it was like you saw those bunkers where there's a bunch of thick grass and like fescue above all the bunkers. So it was kind of in between the fescue and the bunker, whatever you want to call that, like the soil there, I guess. But it kind of looked different than soil. But it was embedded in there. So the funny thing is that Rory and the rules official, I think it was a lady, but anyways, they were both like fingering this the hole in the where the ball was in because he had to identify it first. But they were both shoving their fingers in there to see like if it actually broke ground or if it was just lodged in the grass or not. So she determined that it was embedded. And I guess that under the rules means a free drop. Similar to like if it was in the fairway and it embedded into the fairway, you'd get a free drop out of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it came in there hot, but like I was okay with the drop. I would have thought that he kind of had to go back into the bunker though, but he like basically took a 1 club length barely off the green, like in the fringe almost, and got to chip out of that instead of either taking a 1-stroke penalty or hitting out of that bunker. I don't know. Just things like that where I think that if it wasn't Rory, I think that it might have been a different call. No,
because
that just happened, right?
this was like the third last hole.
Yeah, but that just happened
Oh,
like, a couple
the
weeks.
PGA,
Yeah.
Connors. It was Connors.
yes.
Yeah.
And Vic, same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
They didn't get a free drop though.
Yeah, they got free drop, but they just couldn't go anywhere closer to the hole. And I think, if I remember correctly, that he wasn't allowed to go into the bunker because the ball wasn't actually embedded in the
In
bunker.
the hazard, right?
You also
Oh,
can't
that's
take
what Ross
relief in a
was saying
bunker
here.
per Ross. Yeah.
Because I think he wanted to, because he was like, I'd rather just take a clean lie out of the bunker than, I think at that time he had to go into like some taller grass on like a bad lie, like bad stance.
Right.
Okay, so that makes more sense to me then. I wasn't walked through that whole part of it. I must have missed
So
that.
get off Rory.
It seemed cheap to me, and
Did you-
It's also not like Rory was like, "Okay, I'm dropping this." Like the official was involved in the whole thing too.
Yeah, no, it was
They were
weird though.
told what to do.
It was weird.
Did you see that video that surfaced? It was like Ricky Fowler tracker tweeted it when
Wyndham
Clark.
hit his ball. Yeah,
Wyndham's
is
ball.
that real? Because that definitely looked like it moved.
Yeah, it did
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure move.
But I was watching with Dad, and so Rory chipped it to about 10 or 8 to 10 feet with his drop there, and I said he's going to miss this because he knows that wasn't even if it was legal, like by the rules, you still have that in your head that I don't deserve to be chipping from here. For me, anyways. I don't know if you guys can speak on this or not, but like if something happens to me in golf where I'm like, that's not right. Like I shouldn't have gotten away with that. Then you feel like you have to give one back. And I said to
But
Dad,
if it's in the rule, you didn't get away with anything.
no, but like that's a cheap rule, man. Like he was screwed there, and he did not deserve to be there, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even if it was legal, that's fine. Like I get what you guys are saying here, but like overall, I think that he would have had it in the back of his mind that there would have been.
He made it though, didn't he?
No, he missed it.
What?
Yeah, he missed the putt.
Oh yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah. He bogeyed.
So I don't know.
Don't you feel for him though, or no?
Look at it, like for not winning.
Yeah.
I feel more for him just what he's gone through in the last like year.
Me too.
And
I think that
the live
I think that culminates into him not winning.
I think it's got to play a factor. Whether it's hard to say whether like all those words were his own or if he was like getting a little nudging from the PGA of like, we need you to like speak up more for us, whatever it might have been. Even if they didn't say anything, I feel like he at least had like a feeling that he had to, kind of be the voice a little bit. And then having that pressure and then like not winning and being close but not closing, it's got to be tough.
He is easily like by far the most talented golfer on planet Earth right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
No questions asked.
I would agree with that statement. He hits a ball like nobody else on earth.
He just can't win. Fuck, it's so frustrating.
Like, not that it's even far. Like, I mean, there's long drive hitters out there. Happy Gilmore. But you know what I mean? Like, just watching his ball flight, that little baby draw, and it goes like 340 yards. Like, there's nobody else at that level of talent. But what do you do? Like, that's the question. Like, where does Rory really go from here? Like,
somebody said the other day, and his wedge game, after all these years, the way he hits his driver, and he still takes a full, an entire swing at a wedge, and he's never figured out how to just like punch a wedge or like. He never has. He always takes a full swing. It just looks so awkward hitting a full, and he hits every wedge shot so high, and he just has no control. I don't know, man. Like,
isn't that weird? Kind of coming from Ireland and like the conditions that they grow up in.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never actually even thought of that.
I was gonna say because like in Ireland, you cannot hit the ball high. So I don't know if that's like his adjustment to the USA of having to hit it higher to get over more shit. Because that is a real thing, though. Like in Ireland, there's not the same amount of hazards and water and all that kind of stuff. It's you keep kind of everything on the ground, whereas in the States, you have to go over everything. So I could see that being an issue for him.
So my question would be like his coach, whatever, like, can he go to him and be like, listen, like you have to learn how to hit this shot better. You know what I mean? Or like is his coach like, can't really go tell him this? Like
if not, then he needs a new coach.
If he can't go say anything to him?
Yeah. Or is that on Rory to allow it to happen, you mean?
Well, that's what I have no idea. It could
Yeah.
be both.
And that probably
Yeah.
ties into the whole live thing though too, is like they finish on Sunday, they travel on Monday, Tuesday they're doing pro-ams or doing interviews, Wednesday same kind of thing. Like they never really have a chance to catch up, and especially in like the last year where Rory's been so much in the spotlight and had so many expectations like from that kind of stuff. I just don't know that he's had the time to commit to doing something like that. Like that'd be my kind of thing on it. And then he's expected to be at all these tournaments now, and I
No, he
think he's
skips
kind
a
of shot
tournament
himself in the foot.
and he gets absolutely ripped apart for missing a tournament. Like,
That's
hey,
what I mean.
hey
But
man,
he-
my game's shit right now. I got to go fix
Rightfully
it. I'm
so,
not
he
playing
should
in
have.
this. Yeah,
But Reggie,
I
you
gotta
know
get my
why
game.
he's taking shit though, right?
Yeah, I know, because he took on the ambassador role.
Well, and he went on
No,
Netflix and
'cause he
said
took-
that everybody's getting too lazy,
Yeah, but there's a
too
difference.
soft, whatever it was. I don't know. I do feel for Rory. I do feel for Rory. He looked a lot different too with his short hair. He looks a lot younger with short hair.
Remember
He's
how he
wild,
was when he first came out, though?
Fat Rory.
Yeah, little chubster. With
It
the
is
flow.
crazy how these guys don't really have a break.
It is, honestly. For
Like
real.
they might have a Monday off,
Right.
and
And
probably
that'll be
travel.
like almost a travel day.
Yeah. And their season ends like when? It's like
November.
it doesn't really end.
A week before it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they take a week vacation and then they gotta practice again and then they're playing within like
Honestly, it seems like when the guys really find it is when they either miss the cut and they get those extra few days to work on their game.
Yeah, right.
Like
Or
I bet you
relax.
JT
Just-
finds his game now, or just relax. Yeah, just get your head out of it for a little bit.
He was getting
Yeah.
hammered with Max on
That's funny.
that was pretty funny actually.
PJ messaged him or tweeted at him and said, "We'll give you the password if you want." He said, "Be careful what you wish for."
To the account?
Hey,
Yeah.
To the account?
yeah, password for PJ account for
Oh,
him
boy.
Max.
How
So-
crazy is it that there's only one major left?
That is nuts, man. And it's also, I forgot to mention this off the intro. That's how rushed things were. It's the summer solstice today. Does that mean it's the longest day of the year right now?
Yeah.
And we're only going
Yes, sir.
downhill from here?
downhill
Yeah.
from here.
Damn. That's tough. But I mean, we could talk about LACC. I think there's been enough chat about that. One thing we do need to talk about, though, and we missed this a couple episodes ago, but we're talking about the rough. We're talking about bunkers. Let's talk about our fix the divot section or fix your divot section for the week, because this is overdue. We've actually had Colton, who's in the chat tonight. He originally sent this in, and we've had about 3 or 4 guys send it in since then. So Reggie, tell us about Prairie Scratch Tour quickly, and then Drums can give us our fix your divots section.
Fix Your Divots is brought to you by Prairie Scratch Tour. Prairie Scratch Tour is created by the players for the players. The mission over at Prairie Scratch Tour is to provide competitive, high level, and above all else fun golf tournaments, which in all our opinions was desperately needed in this area. Looks like some jam-packed leaderboards of absolute stud players. That last one at the AC,
the guy, who was it? He ran away with it. He was like 8 strokes up on everybody else.
Marco starts with TRE. I don't know the rest of it. I can't. I've never been able to say
Let's
it. but-
hoping you'd try.
If you'd like to learn more information about Prairie Scratch Tour, head over to their website at prairiescratchtour.ca. They have a great website with tons of info on the schedule, membership events, and how to register for the events. And also give their Instagram account at Prairie Scratch Tour a follow for updates on the tournaments and all the upcoming tournaments for the rest of the summer.
How many do they have left? Do you know?
I don't.
I think quite a few.
I think they have like 7 total, and I think there's been 3, so I think there
Yeah.
should be 4 tournaments left.
It is crazy though that all the majors are done, and it's June 20th today, or not all the majors, but 3 out of 4. Like, we're not used to that. Usually we're only half done right now, right?
Right.
Like 2 years ago before they changed the schedule.
Yeah. I think that's why they should move the Canadian Open.
Yeah, the Canadian Open seems out of place where it is, especially with the year that they had this year.
And like the
They
US the next week. you could
Yeah.
probably get a hell of a lot stronger field.
Yeah,
I think they should look at that definitely after like build on the momentum that that this year gave us.
Yeah,
But did it not used to be the week before the British Open?
I think so too.
so.
So they've just been screwed forever.
Canada's always getting shoved around.
Not a surprise, honestly, at all.
No. So drums, this is a big one, and for anybody if you notice the title of tonight's episode, this is exactly why it's called that, because we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown here, further in depth than most. So drums, let's hear it.
Okay, Colton throws this one at us, and I hope he didn't come up with this after playing me in league one evening. But his fix your divot is don't fluff your lies in the rough. Not gonna lie, I will do this in like rounds with just fuck around rounds. It's not something I'll do
League,
in like in a league. No,
not in the league. Okay, good. Because I wanted to make a commitment here from everybody. I was thinking, you know how like in the past where they're like, if you wanted to get something out there, you paid like $1,000 to get a billboard with that saying on it, like, you know, Jesus saves or something like that. But I feel like billboards aren't as effective nowadays. Oh, I thought it said it was you, drums. So Colton confirmed it was not drums. But I feel like we need to, like, if King Golf and the Kingdom goes down in history for nothing else, if we're known for nothing else, I want to be known for stopping people from touching their balls in the rough. I think that that's such a key thing that needs to change in golf, but people just think that they can do it, and I don't know that they know any differently. So I think that we make a point of this, like going forward, to talk about this and to stop people from touching their fucking balls.
You got to use
okay, how do you
wording.
No,
in a situation? How do you identify your own ball in the rough?
What's that, Drum?
Like, how do you identify your ball in the rough?
I feel like you know. I feel like you know, like 85% of the time.
Right.
You can move it with your hand to like make sure it's your ball, and I mean, 99 times out of 100, you'll be able to tell right away if that's your ball. There's an occasional time where all you see is white, and you have to do that. But I feel like guys just do that so they can move it a bit. But the thing that bothers me is like when people are blatantly moving it with their club in the rough. So one, to me, it's like, number one, it's totally illegal and not allowed. I think that it honestly saves 4 to 5 strokes per round. Two, I think that if you get used to playing out of every situation, every lie, your overall game actually improves because you're not so reliant on perfect lies all the time. You get more creative, you get better feel, and you don't piss off your opponents. I mean, yeah, you might add a few strokes to your round for a year, but like we have to make this a thing that people do.
No objections.
Or not do.
We had a round the other day, and I forget which week it was. It doesn't really matter. It happens all the time, but like I would never, ever in a league play, even majority, unless I'm playing with like East and it's like buried and we're just dicking around at Rossman or something. I'm like, I just fluff it up so I can hit a better shot. Like if we're not finishing around or anything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, if you can fluff your ball in the rough around the greens, I bet you I would get up and down probably 9.5 times out of 10 if I could fix a perfect lie every time around the greens. That's what makes it so hard. Like, honestly, do people think that it's hard to get up and down if you're not fixing your lie?
Like chipping into the grain in the rough is
oh my god,
so hard
impossible
to do.
If it buries down, you got to play a different club and like blade it or like it's not golf if you're fluffing it up. And then what I was gonna say was I had to give a shitload of strokes to someone, and I'm playing it out of the rough, and then I drive up to their ball, and they don't even give a shit. They fluff it.
Got that bitch on.
And then throw a dart from 160 yards out of the rough because they just fluffed it, and I got to give them a stroke on that hole. And I'm like,
Well, you took your
Play the
stroke
game,
in,
like
Turkey. Yeah.
yeah, you like I don't know. It's so frustrating, but you're never gonna. I would never say anything to a person in the world ever, never.
That's the
But
best
it's
lie.
so frustrating.
That's the best lie that I would like too. Like if like a fluffy lie in the rough, I'd rather hit than like a ball in the middle of the
Fairway even.
So it's like
Definitely.
it's not even
Yeah.
like making it like for me anyway. It's not even like just helping me. It's like making it best case.
It's like putting a T under it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's
Colton
like
said
he
he
just
doesn't-
hit the jackpot instead of actually hitting it in the rough.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Colton says he doesn't move it in the fairway. I always move mine in the fairway.
I do too.
I think
I shouldn't.
I think
shouldn't do
in
it, but yeah.
no, I think in like amateur golf and men's night golf, like if you hit the fairway, you're not playing in a tournament. You've earned the right to move it to give
But
yourself a
even-
good lie. If you hit the
Even
fairway.
like even always like you're in a bit of a divot and you move it every time.
On the fairway,
Because
Yeah,
I don't think
it's just a habit.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Really?
really?
I definitely have moved the ball in the rough if I'm not playing a match and
Yeah.
I'm just like playing a fun
Yeah.
round or whatever. I've definitely moved it if it's like I don't want to hit this. But even in those rounds, I don't think I've ever moved it in the fairway.
Really?
But it's probably like you said, habit. I've never done it, and I just don't have it in.
Yeah, and sometimes like I'll move it around like once, twice, and it didn't like improve my lie at all. It's just
Yeah, me too.
whatever.
It's just
Yeah.
a habit. Part of your routine.
Yeah.
almost.
It's a gross
Sometimes it
habit.
almost makes it worse.
Yeah.
And then you got to stand there for 30 seconds and fondle it for a while. But what do we do here? Sorry. Yeah. It is tough. It's like, okay, answer me this question. Is it legal to move it in the fairway? Like,
I
not
believe so,
legal in
no?
a tournament, like not a PGA, obviously, but like, would you guys ever call anybody for moving it in a fairway if you're playing against them, like in the Tamarack or something? Like, is that a rule?
I
think it
I
is.
personally, not knowing the rules of golf that well until like recently, like the like fine rules, I just assumed that you couldn't.
If it's winter rules, then you're supposed to lift clean in place and you get 6 inches. That's the rule in a tournament.
Or if it's like
That's if it's winter rules, which a lot of the time they play winter rules in the qualifying of the Tamarack. And then once it gets to the match play, you can play whatever the hell you want. There's no rules anymore.
Okay,
So,
well,
like, if
let's get away from the fairway stuff here because, I mean, to me, maybe it's because I do it, but I don't give a shit about that. I don't think that that's the issue here. It's guys who fluff their balls in the rough. So my idea here, I had a couple ideas here. I was thinking about it today.
I have a quick question. What
Okay.
about like you're in tall grass and like not ripping out the grass behind your ball, but like bend like really flattening it down or like
Yeah,
as long as you don't touch the ball.
tainted, you can't really do that.
I
Can't
do
do
that
that.
all the time. I
Yeah,
trample
you
it down. I
do.
trample
You
it
do.
down for
In
sure.
in
I
the
don't do
rules,
it.
that's not allowed.
But
No.
I'm just asking, even if you don't like touch your ball,
Yeah, you can't like improve
what
your
about
lie.
picking sticks? Like
Yeah, you
you're-
can pick sticks. You
So
can,
what's
but
the
if the
difference
ball
there,
moves
then?
and you pick the sticks.
then it's a stroke.
Yeah.
Okay, Reggie, what about this though? Because I always try to like clear as much away from behind the ball so I can get a clean shot at it, right? Because I don't want grass in front of the ball.
Right.
If the grass is long enough, I mean, if it's the rough, you obviously can't do anything with that. But
Like
like
technically, like
kinda
if you're holding it with one arm,
no. I'm saying like if my back foot here as a lefty, my back foot touches like holds it down. Is
you're
that
allowed
legal?
to. You're allowed to like. You could say, like you could stand basically right parallel with the ball, and then back it and take your stance. But you can't move like any body parts to like you can't like kick your leg way out to like grab a bunch of grass behind it.
Why?
You have to take your stance. Whatever you do, you just get to the ball and then back into it. You can't actually like
What if
when you
that's
hold
their
the
stance?
but when you hold the bush like with one arm and hit with one arm, like that's technically not legal.
What?
No, because you have to back into it. You can't hold anything. Like you just have to back in.
Gotta
And that's
back
your
that
stance.
ass up.
What if I was like Rob and like putted with 1 foot behind me? He also doesn't do that anymore. We should give a shout out to Rob. He stopped doing that.
Thank Christ.
He got called out too many times. But like, so you're saying you have to take your normal stance then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I mean, I've been cheating my entire life then, because every time I'm in long grass, I always take the grass and like tuck it underneath my back foot so it's not in the way.
If you do it, if you can find a way to do that while taking your stance, so like get over the ball and then back up, and if you can trap it there, but you can't actually like once you take your stance, like you can't extend your leg and like wrap the grass with your leg and then tuck it behind.
Can you sidestep in or you have to back in?
It's just
You have to moonwalk in.
Just shredding the grass with your cleats.
Drums, you could probably crip walk in there or whatever the hell.
You know what
it's
the
called.
funniest part is? I don't want to. I'm not going to name any names. It might get out, but this was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen was, like so that's the rule. Like you can't hold branches back or you can't do anything like that. And you sure as hell your caddy can't hold a branch back for you. But there's a picture on the front page of the Dolphin Herald about a junior winning a tournament. And it said the guy's name and it said he's chipping out of the bush, and his dad was holding the bush. He was holding back the spruce branch behind him so he could hit out of the bush, and that was the picture they put on the front of the Herald ad. It was like 10 out of 10, like just cheating, blatantly cheating right on the front page of the Herald, and says that he
That's
won the tournament.
phenomenal, actually.
It's so good, man.
I've definitely like taken my club and like beat the grass down behind the ball or like stuff like that.
Oh, we got some actual rules here coming in. So what the chat's for. See, I'm more of like does it make sense or not as a rule? Like I feel like if you can hold the grass down, you should be able to hit the ball. But Roscoe says in order to fairly take their stance, the player is required to prepare for their stroke in the least intrusive manner that results in the minimum improvement in the position or the lie of the ball, area of intended stance or swing, or a line of play. So it's basically the least intrusive manner that results in the minimum improvement. That seems really subjective to me.
For sure. Like
The funniest thing to me
I guess
is
like your
when
playing
someone-
partner could call you out.
when someone's like going into the bush and like there's a bunch of like long grass behind their ball and they just start like just going at like a whippersnapper,
Speed rocking it?
attacking the grass out. It's like, what is happening right now? And like that happens in men's night, and you're like, what are you doing over there, man? Like, but I
Okay,
think the
speaking
rules
of that,
actually-
Speaking of that, Reggie, because me and Mom, you know the part of the bush over here that I want to put a garden in?
yeah.
So it was full of like 6 foot high weeds in there. And so me and Mom tried getting rid of it yesterday. We had the weed whacker out. It just kept getting tangled up in there, obviously. And so guess what I had to use?
Golf club.
No, way
Scythe?
better. Scythe.
Oh, nice.
Hell
Is that
yeah.
what Dad uses in the water?
Yeah, Dad used that for the reeds in the water. But it was so crazy, man. I felt like I was in the 1800s. But it was right-handed, so I had to do like if it was a left-handed one, it would have been a lot easier. But I was like scything right-handed
Scything.
because it has like two, and it's like an old school one. Like it's Dad, I think it still had a garage sale sticker for $10 on it. So the handles were like all loose and shit. It was not good, and it was not that sharp either. But okay, so let me ask you guys this before we start wrapping things up here. So there's a guy named Matt Odell, and he's a Bitcoiner, but he sends out the same tweet every morning, and the tweet is "Stay humble, stack sats." That's his tweet. He's been saying it for a year now or more. So the idea there is that he just keeps driving home the message. So my proposal for King Golf is we do the same thing, kind of. Reggie, if you're on board for this, I would like to send out a tweet every morning that says, leave your ball alone. Don't fluff in the rough.
Yeah,
All right.
I like it.
Trendsetter.
I think that, I mean, if his tweet reached me in Canada from wherever he's at, like I feel
What
like
if you leave
that's
the
how.
first part out? What if you just tweet "Don't fluff in the rough"?
No, but I don't like starting things with "don't." Like this is kind of like a more less negative.
What about "Do not
Better
fluff in the rough"? Use the full word.
Or what about leave your balls alone? Don't fluff in the rough. Because then it's like kind of sexual too, and people might actually like, notice it. I don't know. I think we should try it. I want to be known. I
I'll
want King
surprise you
Golf.
in the morning.
No.
I'll surprise
Picture-
you with whatever I tweet tomorrow morning.
I think
Picture of your balls.
I think the
No.
What's that, Rip?
King Golf t-shirts.
Yeah.
Don't fluff in the rough.
Rough.
I think that would sell, honestly. If we put this forward as like a message that we want to drive home to the golf community, because the thing is right now with golf in the last 3 years, I feel like there's so many like new, and I shouldn't say that because people in our league aren't new to golf, but this is just something that people have gotten away with for way too long, in my opinion.
But where would you hear about it? You know what I mean? Like unless you read
unless you're in a tournament,
you don't really know that better, I guess.
It's true, and that's kind of like why I think the Fix Your Divots segment has been like kind of catching on a little bit, is because not everybody knows the rules of golf. Like you go out there, if you're kind of newish to golf, you go out there, you pay your $70, you get a cart that you can just rip around on, you grab a couple beers, you miss a ball a couple times, you turn on some music, like you don't really give a shit.
Okay,
And
what
that's
about
all.
this though? This
Okay.
is the craziest thing on this topic. At Dauphin Lake last year or the year before, we've talked about this on the pod before, but there was guys cheating every round, fluffing in the rough. So they just said, "Fuck it, everybody's allowed to fluff in the rough." So
And I think that's how it happened.
So now the entire league's fluffing in the rough, and you're like, okay, well that's not golf, but whatever. I guess you guys can do that because the whole league's doing it. But
It's golf, but louder.
and
then you're at a disadvantage, right?
Well, then we're playing the Gary Brandon, and the guys are like, "Are we fluffing in the rough?" I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Well, we do it men's night. We might as well do it here." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's."
Rip, does your course have men's night like back home here?
They have a lot of different leagues and tournaments and things. I don't think they quite have it the same, but they have like similar things. I'm like obviously kind of new in the last month, so there's like a lot of stuff going on, and I try to follow, but I'm not really sure. I know that like a lot of these courses have like women's leagues and I think men's leagues, but a lot of them are like I think usually older, and they play like Tuesday at 9:00.
Yeah.
You know,
Like 9 a.m.
Yeah,
obviously.
like
Yeah.
it's like quiet times kind of.
Mhm.
But they do a lot of cool different tournaments, like with different ideas behind it. I could send it all to you guys just for thoughts and stuff. It might be something that you want to do something. They do this like Sunday scaries, which is like you just
Bridge
throw
would love that.
like on Sundays, like guys are hungover or whatever from the weekend, and they go play like a casual fun round. I'm not sure what's on the line, but I'm sure there's like maybe like a $5 buy-in or something.
That's actually such a sick idea, because if you get pretty lit up on Friday or Saturday or both, like I feel like the best thing to do is pound a bunch of water and have like 1 or 2 beers. Because if you go from drinking like 20 beers in one day on Saturday and then go to 0 the next day, like that's a shock to your system. So I feel like Sunday Scaries golf, you have like 1 or 2 beers, you get some sunshine, you have some laughs, like it really improves your morale.
Yeah, I think they also do like
Scaries this week.
you can join as like singles or doubles, and they just kind of put people together. So it's like also a chance for like members and different people to meet.
Right. Less competitive too, eh?
Like in like a bigger city where you might not know everyone that's at the club, but
I had
So-
heavy Sunday scaries this weekend.
Rip, we played with a guy in Minnesota at Chaska a couple weeks ago. He was applying to be a member at what the hell is the course? I want to say Shinnecock, but it was not Shinnecock. What was it, Reggie? The one in Minnesota, the big course there.
Oh, it's Wisconsin. No, fuck. Just put me on the spot.
Put myself on the spot.
Whistling Straits.
Nope.
Where
No?
they had the Ryder Cup?
Yeah.
Hazeltine.
Hey,
Hazeltine.
yeah.
Sounds right. It's bad that I don't remember that. Yikes.
Medina.
No, anyway, so the guy that we were playing with was Hazeltine. Is that what you said, Reggie?
Yeah.
The guy we were playing with, Rip, was applying to be a member of Hazeltine. And he said that he had to go through like a big process of like screening and like interviews and shit. So, I mean, if you're going to get killed or someone is going to come to your house tonight and for sharing this info, you don't have to say, but like, what's that process like of applying to be a member of one of those courses? Do you have to give blood?
No, some are different than others, definitely. And mine was like, they want you to like kind of be involved. So I had to do a couple meetings with like a couple of the members and guys on the board. And then, but I also joined, they do this summer program. So it's like a cheap version and you get the summer. So I'm not like a full-time member. I get it for 2 years and then I have to apply for like the junior membership.
Right.
But yeah, you do a couple meetings and you know, they like it if you go play with a couple of the members and they want to see, you know, what kind of person you are, or like if you're out there being a jackass, then you know that
makes
sense. But I know there's like
Were you giving guys tickets?
no, but maybe if push came to shove, I'm not but I know there's like a couple places where guys have been on like wait lists and lists for like years, and you have to like play with like every member over this time, and like they're really strict about it. And but like some of these clubs allow like 100 200 members, so
True.
like
You're on like your last member, hey? And the guy's like, "No, I don't like
Yeah.
this dickhead."
Yeah.
he's fluffing his ball in the rough. We can't but it is like a whole process, and you know, you have to they have to feel like you're going to fit in, and like they want like you to be able to go and hang out with different members and like be a part of the club, and not just like show up and play by yourself every, you know, Thursday and Friday kind of thing.
Yeah, that's sweet actually.
It nice.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It seems like it's a little bit much, but it honestly makes sense to me.
Around here too, there's so many people like trying to join, and they want to keep it like, I guess it's like it does become like an issue with like political stuff, I think sometimes too. You know, like I think at times there's been like clubs that don't allow Jewish people or certain things like that. I think it's gotten better, but there is definitely issues with little things like that. But they're independent courses. They're owned by people, and I guess
Right.
they have the right to kind of do what they want.
Yeah.
The crazy part is like here, like the courses that we play are like desperate for members. Like they want as many members as they can get because it's only like a
Give
5-month
money.
season, and like
Yeah.
you take anybody you can get. But like it's awesome that they can like pick and choose who they actually want for their members. It's like such an event. It's so cool.
Yeah, they try to keep their membership at a number so that if you are a member, that you can actually go out and play, and not like,
Makes sense.
because there isn't really anything worse than like you pay as a membership and like you're like scrambling to try to get tee times and you can't, like,
No shit.
it's like
Mhm.
like this is stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing I will say about Wheat City, and you know, we've said a lot of good things about Wheat City in the last couple of years, and how much Dave and Grady have done there to improve the place. But like as a member there, we had our league on we still have it obviously at Thursday nights. But like if you tried to make up a match, it was almost impossible because every night there was 3 or 4 different leagues playing. And so, if you're working 9 to 5 and you want to go out and play, like, does it make sense to get a membership if you can only play once or twice or once a week and then on weekends if you want to? Like, I don't know. It was kind of frustrating to me.
Yeah.
But Wheat City doesn't have, it's not $10,000 or $100,000 per membership. So they have to charge, or they have to get more people because they can only charge so much. So it's a logistics thing, obviously.
Right. That's just a Wheat City too. Like that's every course around
Every
here.
course.
They're getting as many people as often as they can, no matter what.
Yeah. I
they
feel like
want as many members as possible.
they also have like big expenses at those courses too, because there's so much work into like getting them ready and whatnot. Where like if you're in a climate here where like it's not that cold and it's not that bad, like the courses like all recover really well and they're not dealing with a lot of the crap they have to deal with there. But they also have bigger budgets here because people are paying, pretty good money, some crazy money, some that are very fair, but they can do that, which allows them to keep their memberships low, which allows the members freedom to kind of do what they want and play when they want.
For sure. That makes sense.
Makes sense.
And I mean, like as a membership base or as like a community or a group, like you're kind of only as good or as strong as like your weakest person in there, right? And I mean, it's different in a golf membership like that. But if there's like a couple of assholes and they're pissing all the members off, and then all the members leave to go to a different course, which is 2 kilometers down the road, like that's a big problem for those courses.
Yeah, they don't want that. They don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to have to deal with like fighting people, fighting members.
Yeah.
So like if you're not gonna, comply to the rules or comply to that stuff, then they're just like, well,
go somewhere else.
We don't want you here.
Yeah, makes sense. It seems like a little bit much, but it makes sense to me. So, final thoughts.
That's the FIFO rule. I was muted. I was trying to say it, but
That's
fit in or fuck off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good line.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Because you have every opportunity, every right to fuck off, but if you decide to fit in, you're welcome. Final thoughts, boys. Rip, when are you coming home? I meant to ask you the last couple of weeks here, but when are you coming
gone?
back?
I'm looking late July, so we might have to get a game going. I like my record against Reggie right now. I shot a 93 the other day, so I'll put that in the handicap and I'll be ready to go.
Get some more strokes on him.
You're messed up.
I don't think that Rip and I have ever lost to you, Reggie.
I think our last
Rip
match.
corrected me on that. Rip corrected me on that on the weekend.
I think we might have lost our last match.
I don't know about
that. I honestly have way too many losses piled up to even think about a win. Rip, you don't know when you're coming home, eh?
Yeah, I'm thinking
end of July.
Like the very end?
Like the 11th ish
of July?
Yeah.
So middle of July.
Yeah, that's mid. That's when we're going to Rubes' wedding. Oh no!
I'll be a week. I will say though, for futures, and this is down the road, but the Ryder Cup is going to be played about 20 minutes from my house in a couple summers, so could be a Kngdom event
on location.
Yeah, could be.
People are gonna think we're in the Illuminati or something with that kind of stuff. Oh no, that's
I just bought tickets. I just bought tickets.
Did you? Oh, you know what we forgot before we go. We have huge thing to talk about here for 1 second, but it was Chez's birthday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So I have nothing left to cheers here, Chez. Sorry, man. We got caught up cheers into Rip engagement like it's a big deal or something. But the real thing that happened this week was Chez's birthday. So
Chesney
happy
sent me a
birthday,
message
Chez.
for Father's Day too, so big shout out to him.
Yeah.
Whenever I tune into the Kingdom, I feel like Ches is always there.
Ches is always here. So
Ches lives here.
we probably should have started the episode with happy birthday to Ches, like singing it, but we had a lot going on. Sorry, Ches, but we didn't miss it. So happy birthday, Ches. I think he's like 25 or 26 years old. Hell of a golfer. What else?
Last
Final thoughts. Yeah,
thing.
final thoughts.
Last to the last. ACT's off in 2.5 hours at the BMW International in is it
Germany.
Munich or Munich?
Munich.
Yeah, so he's in Munich, 7:40 a.m. local time, 12:40 here, and then June 23rd, 5:40. So we might be able to catch the. I'll be tracking the end of that one. I'll probably get up for that. The
I'll
beginning of
probably
that
stay
one.
up for that. Yeah.
Tonight.
I'm like
Tonight,
1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could track tonight. I'll track tomorrow. I'll get up at 5 to track them.
We should definitely send thoughts and prayers to everybody in Dauphin that was affected by the absolute tragedy that occurred that was Thursday morning, I believe, right? We passed by it on the way to Winnipeg. It was just a pretty sobering thing to come across and witness, kind of the mayhem around it. So nothing but love and Dauphin strong. Jor's already out, so I guess that's it. He's pulled the plug. We will as well. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks Rip for coming on. It's been a bit. When are you back on the
Rip,
ice?
Yeah, you guys said that every time I scored, I had to come on, and then it's almost like I waited too long to score.
No, it didn't work out a couple times there, but
Yeah,
you like we've said in the past here, anytime you want to come on, there's a fourth chair here for you every episode. Whenever you want to come on, you're more than welcome.
I don't know if you want me all the time, but I'll take you up on it. I'll take you up on it every once in a while, especially after I beat you. It's definitely
Yeah.
easier to come on.
You know what? Usually, when you used to beat me, it was you beat me by stroke and death. But this last one was a very improved Rip, and it was unreal to see. So I don't mind losing on your big day there.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a fun game, so it's keep trying to get better. Then you have to give me
back in time here. We're quite blurry.
George's laptop died, so he turned his potato on and hopped on.
His iPhone
laptop did die. I thought I was going to get away with pushing it right to the last second there. It said I had 5 minutes left, but it lied to me. So never trust an empty tank of gas. Never trust your battery. But I made her back here. So sorry I missed the thoughts and prayers there for Dolphin. That was a tough one, and I don't want to revisit it. Brutal. So what were you guys talking about after that?
We had just told Rip he's more than welcome to come on anytime he wants. There's always a fourth spot here. He said he likes coming on after he beats me.
Guess we just have to play more.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do a full day at Rossman this summer with the boys. So still possible, but looking doubtful.
When are you guys gone?
12th.
11th to the
18th.
Perfect. That's when I'm there.
Are we back on the 18th?
I thought we're back on the 18th. Is that the Monday?
18th.
I think
Tuesday.
Monday's the 18th. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll try to figure it out.
Final thoughts. Anything? Are you good to go?
No, I'm good. Just thanks for having me. It's always
sorry for keeping you so long here. My final thoughts for the night are leave your balls alone and don't fluff in the rough. Drums, take us out of here. Thanks for coming on, Rip. Anytime, you're welcome.
Rip, your post on Instagram today got me 3 follow requests from 3 Islander bots. and a couple more, but
trying to help the Kingdom fire it off, but
yeah, gotta get their hats in the Islanders colors.
I know. I mean, we were talking about it with our caddy. He thinks that Red should get the head covers buzzing.
Yeah, he was pretty excited about him.
There you go.
We'll see.
Okay, I
We'll see
guess
how
that's
things
it
go.
for another one. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for coming out, hanging out in the chat. That's it. We'll see you next week. Love you, boys. Peace out. Later.
Yes.
Love you, boys.
See you guys.